Hello. Hi, everyone. My name's Jordan Hoffman. I am a, what am I? I am a Star Trek fan, like all of you are.
Woo!
And with us, I was going to introduce you guys. You guys want to get off the stage again so I can introduce you? Come on. Let's do this right.
Already screwed.
Yeah. Let's do this right. I'm thrilled to be here. It's first Star Trek convention in a while, right? Feels good to be back. Even though I've never been here, it feels good to be back. The Star Trek Continuum. What the hell is the Star Trek Continuum? It sounds new, it sounds exciting, and up until a couple days ago, I had no idea what it was. Who saw the booth downstairs? Yeah. So like I've been wanting to go inside the holodeck since I've been 11 years old. We're getting there. Okay, so let's introduce two people that are going to explain the Star Trek Continuum, explain the Metaverse. These are words that sound cool, but I don't know what they are. So let's introduce Chris Heatherly. Come on in. This is a gentleman who is an architect of the future. And from our friends over at Paramount, please welcome Erica Winterhaller. Yeah. And later in the panel, we're going to meet two people that we already know and love that are going to beam in perhaps through a series of spores or some sort of weird way of traveling. I don't know how they're going to get here, but it's going to be fun. So Erica and Chris, I'm a little bit new to the Metaverse. I'm a little bit new to digital collecting. I certainly know what collecting is. My wife reminds me plenty of times I need to get rid of some of this crap that's taking up space in the closets. But I am curious about digital collecting, and I'm curious about how it's going to work with Star Trek. So first of all, let me ask you guys who you are. Let's start with Chris down there. You work with this company called RECUR.
I do. I work with RECUR. So we are a NFT and digital collectibles company. And I am also a Star Trek fan. So have been for a really long time. So this is a real honor for me to get to work on. Prior to this, I worked at Disney for 20 years. So I oversaw their toy business and their games business. And then I was at Universal and oversaw their games business. So I've gotten to work on a lot of the biggest franchises in the world. And I'm really excited to get to work on Star Trek.
Chris is being very modest. Earlier today, we were schmoozing, and he just kind of like, well, when I was in a meeting with Steven Spielberg once, we were talking about the Jurassic Park games. I'm like, wait, hold on. Go back. So you've been in the games biz for a long time. And
yes.
I think that's going to be an interesting aspect to what makes this experience different from other elements of digital collecting, is that this is not just digital collecting for the sake of digital collecting. There is I believe the industry term is a utility to it.
Yes.
And there's going to be a lot of gaming, which brings us to our friend Erica, who also has a games background, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, correct. Yes. So, hi everyone. I'm Erica Winterhaller, and I manage our video game business at Paramount. And I've worked on Star Trek games for the past decade plus. Really excited about all the stuff that we've put out into the world and given for fans to play and immerse themselves with. Some of the highlights are Star Trek Online, also Star Trek Timelines. I've also worked on some games that don't exist anymore, but were a lot of fun. Star Trek Trexels, I love that game. And also, we have some exciting new titles that are coming out this year. Star Trek Resurgence, I'm sure you've seen some of that in the news, which we're really excited about. And also, we have a game coming for the new Star Trek Prodigy, which
Yeah, I
should be
saw
a nice,
that poster
fun,
outside. That's news, right?
Yeah, we're really excited about that.
So
That's
this
really
is a
great.
game targeted toward younger players.
Yeah.
So I might be able to play it, is what
Correct.
you're telling me. So.
You can play and succeed and do really
Awesome.
well.
All right, cool.
And you can also play with your kids, or you can play with everyone.
So, but now I want to ask about the Metaverse. So like I said, we went to the booth downstairs, and it looks really, really cool. And I've certainly heard the word Metaverse on science fiction shows, and it certainly sounds like science fiction. It sounds a little bit like the holodeck. It sounds a little bit like Ready Player One. It sounds a little bit like the Matrix.
It's a little bit all that, yeah.
This is a real thing that is in development, not just with you guys, but all over all sorts of platforms. Be honest, who else out there has heard about this but doesn't really know what the hell it is? All right, good. Well, thank you. I feel better now. Okay. So the metaverse is a thing. And I'd like to ask you, please, rather than Googling it, I just will ask you, what exactly is the metaverse and how is it going to involve Star Trek?
Well, I think a lot of people are trying to answer that question, but the way I look at the metaverse is that it is a new kind of internet that has not just, web pages that you can view, but it exists in 3D as well, where you own your digital identity and you can actually own your digital stuff, which is where digital collectibles come in. And you can travel, whenever you travel throughout the metaverse, your things can travel with you. And it's inherently social. And so a lot of what we're going to be doing with Star Trek Continuum is creating a social experience for Star Trek fans to come together around their passion for Star Trek. So, it's all about sort of taking a lot of the things that we see happening in the social media world, and now combining them with VR and video games, and it's sort of an amalgam of a lot of these technologies together with the blockchain that enable all of this.
And I remember, maybe 10, 15 years ago, friends of mine were really into Second Life. Any old Second Life people in here? One. Come on, a couple people back there. Hey, there she is back there. I personally never got too involved in Second Life, but I always saw, like, my friends were like, this kind of looks really cool, but it was pretty rudimentary at the time. Is it fair to say that there are elements from Second Life that are going to come into the metaverse, but with all sorts of new functionality? Is that
yeah, I think that's right. Second Life is sort of a proto-metaverse. The difference is that there's not going to be one metaverse. There will be lots of metaversal experiences that are all interconnected using the blockchain. And so it won't be owned by any one company. It will be a tapestry of experiences, like the web.
Like the internet. I remember when I first heard of the internet, it's like, this company called AOL and they own internet, I guess. I don't know, but that was not actually the case. Well, you said a word called blockchain, which actually leads to my next question for you, Erica. So obviously you work on games for Paramount. I almost said the V word, Viacom. It's Paramount. Everybody likes to change their name once in a while. So for Paramount, and clearly you're looking for avenues onto the metaverse because it's this new thing that's going to be really wild. I would imagine, given that Paramount is Star Trek and a lot of other beloved intellectual properties, you had companies banging down your doors saying, we'd like to work with you, and you chose RECUR. So
Yeah.
what is it? Why is RECUR? As my people say, why is tonight different from all other nights? Why is RECUR different from all other digital collectible companies?
Well, yeah, and first, to answer the first, or to address the first part of your statement there, we obviously do want to be a part of this in a way that's meaningful to connect to our fandom, and we realize that it is a very new enterprise, essentially, no pun intended, and we really want to make sure that we partnered with someone who understood our values as a company and could take us and kind of shepherd us through the metaverse in a way that is authentic and really aligns with the way that we want to connect with our fans in this new nascent technology.
Excellent. Now, there is some skepticism, some might even say criticism, about the metaverse and these new technologies. And one thing that I know, last week, like I said, I didn't really know much, and there is a lot of criticism of environmental impact. And from what I understand, please, RECUR, put your fingers, I don't want to boost your egos too much, but what I understand is that RECUR does really go above and beyond to mitigate environmental impact. And maybe Erica or Chris, you want to talk about that?
That's actually definitely one of the reasons that we wanted to partner with RECUR specifically was, we understand the implications of this technology, and so we chose to work with them very specifically because they did have the sustainability approach that aligned with our values. And even RECUR, do you want to speak more to the ways that you're approaching this? Yeah,
so sustainability is very important to us, obviously. So we mint on Polygon, which is one of the most energy efficient blockchains, first of all. Far more efficient than anything you've heard around Bitcoin or any of those more energy intensive styles of blockchain. The second thing is that you can pay with credit cards. So you don't have to use crypto. if you don't want to. Most of our customers buy with a credit card or Apple Pay. And then the third thing is that we buy carbon offsets so that we're actually carbon neutral as a company at the end of the day, so we offset our energy use.
Okay, there you go. I mean, that was something that when I was talking about with somebody, is like, oh, you got to buy Bitcoin to get into that, and you could pay with a Visa card if you want to get.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's interesting. We've been talking a lot about what this is, but it's sometimes better to actually see it, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
So, Chris, you have some images and even a little video that we could take a look at, right?
We have a video voiced by the great William Shatner. And we're premiering it here.
We've intercepted communications of a secret project underway at the edge of Federation space. Rumors of an intelligent algorithm have emerged, capable of assembling tens of thousands of unique starships. Reports confirmed a new fleet is being assembled. It is of unimaginable size, designed for an unprecedented voyage. Calling all captains. Now is the time to claim your ship, to join our fleet, to seek out the unknown, to boldly go where no one has gone before. Claim your ship starting April 9th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time.
Thank you. It's tomorrow morning.
He's got a good voice for that, doesn't he?
He does.
When he says things like, you're like, yes, sir, whatever you say.
Yes, Admiral.
Yeah. Very cool. So, you also have some individual images?
Yeah, so if we could just pull those up real quickly. So what you just saw is every ship that you get in the Star Trek Continuum. There are only 22,000 ships. 2,000 of them we reserve for events and rewards. So 20,000 will go on sale tomorrow. All of them are one-to-one unique. They all are unique ship designs, which means we took all the ships, and can we bring the slide up? We used the Roddenberry rules, and we're very grateful to Paramount for letting us do this, but we used the Roddenberry rules as a starting place, which there are rules around how you design starships. We then fed them into a software program called Houdini with a whole number of components used to construct those starships. And then we AI generated 100,000 ships that we called down. We had people hand pick out of the 100,000 permutations, the 20,000 that were the best looking, the most varied. And here you can see some of the results. So this is the Constitution class, which is obviously the original Enterprise, and you can see some of the variations we have. Next, this is the Constitution refit. Next, this is Miranda, so you can see some of those. Next, the Oberth. Next, the Soyuz. Next, and the Class 3 carrier. And so you can see there's a pretty wide range of variation between these. In addition to the physical traits, you also have game traits. So there are 3 classes of traits. There are different types of traits like medical or battle or exploration, and you'll need different types of ships for different voyages that you can go on in the Star Trek Continuum. So we're starting with the ship drop, and then the next thing we'll do is you collect crew. You can crew up with your friends. So if you don't have a ship, you can buy crew and crew up with someone who does have a ship. And then the next thing you'll do is go on voyages and explore strange new worlds and seek out new digital collectibles. So it'll be really fun.
So you guys are calling the ship drop Season 0, right?
Yes.
And that's when these ships leave space dock, and that's happening tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Yes.
And then Season 1, as you're calling it, is the crew up, which you don't have images for yet, that we have to use your imagination.
Coming soon.
That's coming soon, but then Season 2, you got your ship, you got your crew, let's tell some stories.
Exactly. You go
Get
on.
imaginative, and that's a little bit, Erica, where I know it's still in development, and we don't have images to share for that, but can you tell a little bit about the utility factor? We've got this cool stuff, I got my friends, we're ready to play, what do we do?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really important part, obviously, of why we partnered with RECUR, because they are not just building a platform to basically, where you can acquire NFTs, it's an engagement platform. We really want our fans to engage with other fans in a new and exciting way, leveraging new technology and innovation, which, let's be honest, that's what Star Trek is all about. So we're really excited about that.
Yeah, so it's storytelling, and this is just the beginning, like in terms of what the actual collectibles can be. We're looking at ships, but you were telling me that it's going to go deep, like it's going to get specific. Like if I want to collect Cisco's baseball, that's not like the craziest thing. Like that is a potential.
Yeah, those are the types of things we want to have. Things both in the fiction of the show and about the shows.
Yeah.
So outside of the shows, and we want to. These NFT communities are not just about buying digital collectibles, but they're really about the community aspect. They're really about people coming together around topics that they're very passionate about. And so, we see this as like a big gamified fan club. That if you're a Star Trek fan, you're going to want to be a member of this so that you can collect really cool things. You can collect them with your friends. You can go on missions and voyages and live out story moments together. You can share your passion for Star Trek together. We can do events like this where we bring in cool cool talent, and give you access to people from some of the movies and TV shows that you wouldn't otherwise have access to. So we really want to make it the ultimate fan collecting experience.
All right. I want Armis. And I want to avenge Tasha Yar. I'm gonna digitally destroy. I'm gonna delete Armis from the blockchain. That's what I'm gonna do. Cool. So in terms of like when that season, a year and a half, is that?
Season 2. I mean, we hope to be sending people on voyages before the end of the year.
Oh wow. Okay. Oh, all right. So I got to get my act together. Well, the good news is that if people are interested in this, a lot of times when there's something that's new technology, I know I personally feel like, oh, I missed the boat. Like, oh, they've already been doing it. I would have to catch up. You're calling it Season 0 because nobody's in yet. It's the ground floor. So this is exciting for people who are interested in this. And how does one get involved? I mean, other than where does one go?
Well, the first thing you do is you go to StarTrek.xyz tomorrow, and you buy a ship, and then after that you'll be able to crew up with friends.
Excellent, very cool. We have some special guests here. They're in the corner. Let's wait. The spore drive is firing up. I'm getting dizzy. Black alert. Let's bring up Sonequa Martin-Green and Anthony Rapp.
Hello.
The Metaverse. I never met a verse I didn't like.
Hey.
Collectibles, digital collectibles. It's the strange new frontier, but collectibles have been part of Star Trek forever.
Yeah.
And if you're a Star Trek nerd, like my friend Anthony Rapp, or just a nerd in general, collectibles are like part of your childhood, right? Mm-hmm. Same for you, Sonequa?
Well, it's probably differently than Anthony. But yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that I think that it's a really, I don't know, it's a really powerful thing. And it's very nostalgic and very memory building and whatnot. I didn't collect many things as a kid. I loved Cabbage Patch dolls.
That was one of the biggest collectibles of all.
Yeah,
Right?
and what was the doll that My Buddy? You guys remember those dolls? There was the girl and the boy. Yeah. I used to love those too. I didn't collect that many of them. You know, honestly, I didn't grow up in the kind of household where I could just be like, I want that and I want that and I want that. You know, it was like no. You know, and so I would make a lot of things too, just out of paper and aluminum foil. So I collected those things.
The Cabbage Patch dolls, though, to get them, you had to be like a Klingon to get into the stores and get them. You'd have to fight people off. Does anybody remember that? That was a big deal back in the day. Anthony, what were you into?
I was into Star Wars figures. I had almost all of them. But part of the reason our collection would be different is that I'm older than you, Sonequa. So I saw the original Star Wars movies in the theater as a kid. I'm that old. So I had all of the stuff. That was one of my big collections. I also collected Smurfs. And my mom, when my mom passed away, I got sent all this stuff from home, and included in that was my box of all my Smurfs. And we just moved recently, and I found that box, so I have again seen and been with. I mean, it's a box this big, and Smurfs are that big, so it was packed with Smurfs. I had all of them still.
Anthony, Smurfs are 3 apples high. That's what they are.
I don't remember that, Jordan.
Who was your favorite Smurf?
My favorite Smurf?
That's a big question.
Oh boy. I think I always liked Papa Smurf because, like, I always remember the dialogue. How much farther, Papa Smurf? Not far now. And then 2 seconds later, how much farther, Papa Smurf? Not far now. And then 2 seconds later, how much farther, Papa Smurf? Very far.
Can only push him so long.
Yes.
Big ups to Brainy. That's what I got to say. Brainy's the best.
Brainy Smurf, is that what you said?
Brainy Smurf, yeah.
Sure, yeah.
I don't have to use his full name. He's just Brainy to me.
I understand.
Erica, what about you? You were a big collector when you were a wee lass, right?
Yes, I collected Garbage Pail Kid cards. And I also had a pretty rad sticker book.
Oh, yeah.
Loved my stickers.
Like I like the stickers that were a little bit puffy.
Yes,
Right,
I
some-
also love the
Like
sparkly ones.
raised?
Yeah. They were called, in my household, they were called the puffy stickers. Chris, what about you?
I collected everything, and then I grew up and I worked in the toy business, so I never technically stopped.
Yes.
I think of all the stuff that I got to work on, I think Tron was one of. I mean, I wish the movie had been bigger, but Tron was one of my favorite things to work on.
Amazing. Well, Sonequa and Anthony, when you go right in the main room, there's a high-end collectible designer with these amazing renderings, all of our Star Trek heroes, and you're definitely in there. I saw you, and the likeness is incredible. How does that make you feel when you see yourself as an action figure?
Y'all. It's cray. It's cray. It's very surreal. And you go through levels, right? Because when it first happens, you're like, what is this? What's happening? And then you kind of get desensitized to it a little bit, and then it feels like it goes back to the beginning where you're like, what is happening? You know? And then, I don't know, for me at least, it starts to become kind of outer body, where you see it and you sort of like distance yourself from it or kind of disassociate from it, because to stay there is really overwhelming and mind-boggling. You feel like your brain is gonna rip apart if you like stay there, like, so you kind of disassociate in a weird way. But you maintain your gratitude for it and the awe and wonder of it, but you kind of like, oh, that's not me. That's a character, and it is a character, but Yeah, it's quite a thing, man.
But a character that keeps saving the galaxy time and time again.
With this one.
Yes.
And we love
Can't
you.
do it without Stamets. Thank you.
What about those giant cardboard cutouts? I've seen one of Anthony.
Yes, yeah.
Do you have
that's
one of
funny.
those in your
I don't
home?
have one of those in my home, Jordan. No, I do not have one of those in my home. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. It's the same. It feels. It's like. It's also. There really is this thing though. That's Stamets. It's not me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's me, but it's Stamets. So if that's part of the. I guess it's a kind of disassociation.
In a
But
way, right?
but yeah.
A
What
healthy one, a healthy separation.
What I've seen, I haven't seen like, I don't have an action figure yet, but what I've seen is a lot of like renderings of like fan art, and then I've also seen like people have made, they can do custom Funko Pops, and that's really meaningful. Or like a custom Lego character, you know, like of Mark from Rent, like that's really, it's an honor because it also says that's people taking time to dedicate their craft and their artwork and their heart and soul and their blood, sweat, and tears into something like that.
Yeah. Well, you know, what's interesting is that even though, from my understanding with this, with the Continuum, well, it's right there in the word Continuum, they're starting primarily with original series, and then it's going to extend, so eventually they're going to get up to Discovery, and we're going to talk about what these people are going to be doing is creating their own game worlds with Burnham, with Stamets, kind of making their own stories out of stuff that you did. Like you going into the Spore Drive or into the Mycelial Network and you racing around with Cleveland Booker and jumping off of things.
Right.
That's kind of fun to imagine, like other people's stories incorporated from your stuff.
Yes, it's the best. It's the best. Like what is available to us now? You know, I don't know. We've been talking about it, like Anthony was just saying so beautifully, that you know people sharing their gifts. It's huge. Whether it be you know a Funko Pop that they made themselves, or you know they sketched you, or they painted you, or they whatever it is. It is such an honor, and I always want to make sure I communicate, like, dude, like it is no small thing that you've shared your gift with me, not just your heart and your love and support, but your gift as well. It's like, oh gosh, this means so much. So I love this idea of people being able to engage in this new and exciting way, in a way that is far beyond just watching it on the TV screen. It's like you are already connecting your hearts to ours, but then just for people to be able to get in it and make their own decisions and be on their own voyages and missions and to be a part of it in a, I don't know, in a more immersive way.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's like us, you know, that's like us life imitating art, right? We're like trying to catch up to the sort of technology of Trek itself.
Well, it's funny because it sounds a lot like it's a new way to do storytelling.
That's right.
But it's also a next level of a kind of an old school game. It's got some elements of Dungeons and Dragons in there, you know, fantasy
Yeah.
role playing.
Absolutely.
And I know that he's dragged you into a few Dungeons and Dragons games.
I'm down. Anthony, I'll go anywhere with Anthony.
D to D&D.
That's right. I love D&D, although I will say the one game that I did play, because I love it, but I was so nervous. I was like, oh gosh, everybody, I
kicked
don't know what I'm
ass.
supposed to do. You know, but it was so much fun.
Anthony, what is it that you love about D&D so much?
I mean, a lot of things, but what I love games. I've played video games my whole life. I'm in the old arcades that used to exist in shopping malls and stuff. But what I didn't anticipate loving as much as I do, because I'm an actor, so I like figured, okay, I get to get that itch scratched by acting. I didn't anticipate that storytelling aspect of D&D would also be so incredibly rewarding, because it's a story that has no there's no roadmap for it. It's entirely created in the moment between the people in the room. So it's like, it's a level of improvisational storytelling that's really special. And
It's
if
like
you have
jazz.
everybody going all in, which is when Sonequa, this is her first time ever playing, she went all in, we create these moments that we'll never forget. So
Yeah.
and that tightrope aspect of, it's like the best part of being an artist and a gamer at the same time, which I love.
You've seen some of the videos, right? I've seen.
Oh, what's that?
That one. I'm sorry, we're out of time.
Maybe that's our time.
You've seen some of the videos of the D&D games, right?
And we're doing a live game on Sunday with the Disco Does D&D gang. So. But I wanted to, say, if I could also, I think that this stands on the shoulders of things like World of Warcraft, which I never played, but there was this event that happened in World of Warcraft that I heard about. There was a member of the community, this community building, right? These people come together to have these experiences. One person was very, very ill and was on his deathbed. And this community people on World of Warcraft gathered together in the game, and their characters all like held up a torch for this player.
We have examples of that in
Yeah.
our Star Trek games as well.
Yeah, like that kind of thing, like I think is this incredible opportunity it can be the good part of the internet, the good part of how separated we are, we can come together in these ways. I think that that's really extraordinary. Community building, anything that allows people to find commonality and community, I think is really, really special.
I just want to add too, because I think, you guys, we get to watch you, but the thing that's so awesome about our games and these other experiences we're adding to is that the fans get to connect outside of that, because we have people playing games for hours a day, and really they want more of you, and they want more of the story, and so that's what we're trying to bring in all these innovative ways. So.
Yeah, it's like we're all connected and we say that all the time, right? It's like, oh, this is a big extended family, the Star Trek family, right? But that's just like a way that it can like manifest right in front of you, I suppose. It's really cool.
Yeah, and I think the thing that we saw happen with games over the pandemic is that, especially for younger people who are the kind of people that would be into Star Trek Continuum, the typical kind of digital collector NFT fan, is that they grew up on the internet as natives, but then when the pandemic hit, like their socialization went, like it was all digital for a while. And a lot of people have created these tribes and these relationships that they want to keep alive outside of the pandemic. And so, that's a big part of the inspiration of what we're trying to do is think about, how do we make this not just kind of a singular activity that you do, but something that you really do with other people, and that this is a hobby that you can play with your friends and make new friends. When I was at Disney, I ran Club Penguin, which you may or may not have heard of, but the people who know. And that was what we were all about. We weren't a first-person shooter game or anything like that. We were just a place for community, for kids to come together and have fun together, and learned a lot from that hopefully we can bring to this.
I've heard of Club Penguin. I'm too old, but I've heard of it. Some of my very young friends have brought it up to me.
It was a special time.
So now I'm going to tell them that I met Captain Penguin. That's very cool.
It's Spike Hike is technically my character's name.
He's like, get it right.
So it's an old song, but new technology. So and Star Trek and technology. I mean, look, I called it the holodeck at first as a gag, but since we have you guys on here, a question for everybody. We all love Star Trek. You can only get one. What piece of Star Trek technology do you wish you could have in real life? Now, you can make Earl Grey tea yourself. You can just boil it. Don't be so lazy. So it's not that.
I think the transporter, because then I could be in the real place that the holodeck would create. So
the holodeck.
The transporter to get to the place, like to any of those places.
So you're done with air travel.
Well, just to be able to do, without it's carbon neutral. Or
Yeah,
carbon,
it is, ain't it? No fuel really
I
required.
think.
All right,
but it's
that's
hard because the holodeck is
one vote for the transporter. That's a pretty. Are you and
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a tie, but now I don't have to because it's perfect. But y'all, the replicator.
That was going to be my answer.
Man, what we could do with that replicator. I mean, what? Like any problem, I got it. I got you. What you need? Here it is. What you need? I got you. It's amazing. I wish.
the Instant Pot though was pretty cool. So. But no, the replicator would probably be nice. It's more than just food.
That's true. It can make anything.
That's what I was going to say. Sometimes I'm too tired to make dinner for the family. Replicator would be amazing.
Anything you need. Anything anybody needs.
What do you say?
I mean, you guys took all the other ones, so I'm gonna take the holodeck. I mean, I got to work before the pandemic on some of these big social VR environments, rooms where you have multiplayer VR folks, and hopefully that stuff will come back soon because especially with the metaverse and all those other things. I mean, this whole idea of being in a place with other people, but then also being to be digitally have people in that place with you who are not there is wild and mind-blowing. And when you've been in one of these experiences, like it really is, it takes you to a whole new world. So I'm going to take the holodeck.
Holodeck. When I was single, I would have said the holodeck for sure, but now I don't know. I think the transporter would be nice. You know.
Transporter, and you can,
I want to go somewhere, you know, boom, you're there.
That's right.
You know, but since we're talking about technology, this is not particularly germane to this topic, but since we have you here, I mean, the season 4, you had that crazy room, that what did you call it? You had the stage, the virtual stage that you shot on for.
The AR wall. That's so
Yeah.
funny. I was like, what is he talking about? The AR wall.
Remember when you visited the 10C aliens and walked on the thing, but really you were just in a room
That's right.
What was it like shooting? You've been making films and television for 100 years, and now it's a whole new way. So what was that like?
It's insane, right? And you'd be able to speak to it in a deeper way than me because Anthony's a genius and he's going to be a Star Trek director. Already is. Sorry if you didn't want anybody knowing that. Just let the kid out of the frame. I'm so sorry.
It's not official yet, but it's going to happen. Yeah.
That's what I mean. Anyway, so sorry, Anthony. I love you. But yeah, so you know he could speak to it in a way that I can't because of his vision. But yeah, it's really profound because we're typically a studio show, but then we do go on location from time to time. But now here you have this opportunity, you know, like a holodeck, to go anywhere, and it looks real. And it's just this collection of, you know, thousands of little screens, and the technology that goes into it, and the design that goes into it. It's huge. There's only a handful of people that even know how to do it. And I think there's only like one person in Toronto.
He cannot call out sick.
Exactly. And so, you know, it looks one way when you're there, and there is some practical set as well in front of it, but then, you know, the images are projected on the screens, and they move, and they're, you know, sort of connected to the camera, and like the depth of field changes as the camera, I mean, it's really insane. And then you go to the monitor, and it looks like you're there.
Yeah.
It's quite a sight to see.
Yeah, it's so much better than a green screen ever could be.
Yeah.
It's certainly for us as an immersive experience. But yeah, that technology, because it depends, like I don't know how much you guys know about cameras, but different lenses have different, what they can see and what their depth of field is, and the screen responds to whatever camera is filming it. So there are all these tiny little sensors up here that are communicating with the camera, and it's instantaneous.
Yeah.
And it's fully rendered beforehand, but it can move and change with what's happening. These are the kinds of technologies that all you guys are doing that like,
And,
it's really,
and you may you may or may not know, but that's all happening in a game engine. It's happening in either Unreal or Unity is probably what.
somebody had mentioned that, yes, yeah. So it's just using the technology to, again, tell stories, to let us connect.
Yeah.
You know, in ways that it's not just like it's cool bells and whistles, but it's in service of something.
It's the actual metaverse. I mean, I mean, when you're on set, that's rendering out at, you know, the highest fidelity of virtual environment. You're in a hybrid virtual physical environment. I mean, that is the metaverse. That's a real holodeck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes a difference for us to be able to look out and see a horizon and not just a green screen. It's really cool.
1000%.
You know, another amazing piece of technology that you work with on Discovery is it's a natural piece of technology. It's an actor by the name of Doug Jones.
Yes,
Who's
that's
an
right.
incredible.
That's right.
And he's actually going to be on this stage in 5 minutes. So we're going to be wrapping up here. But,
Okay.
but you know, he can't hear us now. Don't give him a swelled head, but working with Doug
Yeah,
Jones.
he is a
He's
metaverse.
a genius.
He's a metaverse himself.
Yeah. Is he human? Is he an angel? I don't know. He's kind of everything at once, that man.
Everybody
Such a
loves
genius.
this guy. He's just the most lovable guy, right?
He's a gift to this world. He really is. And his artistry certainly is.
And he walks in a really cool way.
That's true.
Well, you know what? He's going to be out here in just a few minutes. So I want to say thanks to everybody for joining us.
Thank you.
Chris
Thank you.
and Erica Winterhaller, and Sonequa Martin-Green, and Anthony Rapp. I believe it's Star Trek.xyz if you've been intrigued by what's been discussed here. The booth is downstairs. You can't miss it. It makes a lot of noise and has a lot of cool lights. And you guys are here all weekend doing stuff, signing and doing panels.
I'm only here today.
Oh, she's only here today. Get her here now, you know. So, yeah, Star Trek, innovation, the Metaverse, Continuum. There you go. All right.
Thank you so much. See you soon.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jordan.